Ketanji Brown Jackson made history as the first Black female nominee for the Supreme Court, but the tone of her confirmation hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee did not stray far from that of other recent nominees.
This is a historic hearing and a historic nomination, and so there is a flavor there that we haven't had in other recent hearings, but in many ways they are similar.
As in previous Supreme Court nomination hearings, senators inquired about Judge Jackson's judicial philosophy.
The sense you get from her is she has a very case-by-case, fact-by-fact approach.
Over the course of my almost decade on the bench, I have developed a methodology that I use in order to ensure that I am ruling impartially and that I am adhering to the limits on my judicial authority. I am acutely aware that as a judge in our system, I have limited power, and I am trying in every case to stay in my lane.
The one thing that was a little bit notable, she distanced herself from this concept of the living Constitution, which had been popular in liberal circles for a while, as sort of the antidote to the conservative original meaning of the Constitution.
I do not believe that there is a living Constitution in the sense that it's changing and it's infused with my own policy perspective or the policy perspective of the day. Instead, the Supreme Court has made clear that when you're interpreting the Constitution, you're looking at the text at the time of the founding.
As things started out, the temperature was low in the room. As the hearings went on, it got a little more charged, which is how it has been in past hearings.
Some of the most tense exchanges were between Judge Jackson and Republican senators, questioning her on her sentencing record in child pornography cases.
You are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely
Senator,
good.
So you're not going to answer my question?
No, I've answered your question, and my answer
You
is
haven't
I've
answered my question.
explained.
I'm sitting here asking you, and you're declining to answer.
I've sentenced more than 100 people. You have 8 or 9 cases in that chart.
Okay, Judge, you said that before. These are the 8 or 9 child porn cases. I will say, to correct the record,
I
was
just
talking
say
about
to the judge, there's no point in responding. He's going to interrupt you.
Thank you.
Look,
It is certainly true that there are cases in which Judge Jackson issued sentences to child pornography defendants that were below what sentencing guidelines recommended. But it's also true that the sentencing guidelines on child pornography cases are pretty out of date. There have been calls for them to be updated. There, have been bipartisan agreement that in some cases the guidelines are pretty harsh. And so if you look at the federal statistics here, more than 2/3 of child pornography defendants are sentenced to below guideline sentences, even though they're all still basically doing prison time.
After hours of difficult questioning, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker used his allotted time to draw attention back to the historic nature of the hearings.
It's hard for me not to look at you and not see my mom. I see my ancestors and yours. Nobody's going to steal the joy of that woman in the street or the calls that I'm getting or the texts. Nobody's going to steal that joy. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American.
There was nothing that happened this week that really changed the trajectory of what's going to happen here. She came into this hearing likely to be confirmed. She leaves the hearing likely to be confirmed. The Democrats, so long as they stay together, have the votes to confirm her. Even if she doesn't get any Republican votes, it would not prevent her from sitting on the Supreme Court.